Before we begin tonight's story, take just a second to support the channel. If you believe in love that never truly fades, in memories that refuse to disappear, and in second chances that arrive when we least expect them, then you're exactly where you're meant to be. Go ahead, subscribe, like this video, and turn on notifications, because the story you're about to hear isn't just emotional. It's about silence, loss, and the one quiet moment that changed everything. The knock came at exactly 8:17 p.m. Soft, careful, almost hesitant, the kind of knock you could ignore if your life hadn't already gone completely silent. But for Sarah Mitchell, that sound meant something she hadn't felt in years. A reason to open the door. The house had been quiet for a long time. Not the peaceful kind of quiet, but the kind that presses against your chest, reminding you of everything that's no longer there. Sarah stood by the window, her fingers wrapped around a mug of tea that had long since gone cold. Outside, rain fell steadily, turning the streetlights into blurred golden reflections. Inside, time barely moved. 4 years since her husband Michael passed away, and somehow, the world had continued forward. But she hadn't. Her life had become a pattern. Wake up, make coffee, sit in silence. Sometimes she opened a book, only to realize she hadn't read a single word. Sometimes she turned on the TV, just to fill the emptiness with meaningless sound, because silence felt too real, too heavy, too honest. There were moments when memories came back without warning. Michael's laughter echoing in her mind, the way he left lights on in every room, the way he always knocked twice before entering, even in his own home, 2 soft knocks, always the same. Sarah closed her eyes. Some habits never really leave you. Knock, knock. The sound came again. Soft, careful. Sarah froze. Her breath caught in her throat. No one visited anymore. Not like this. Not at this hour. For a moment, she didn't move. Her thoughts raced. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe someone had the wrong house. Or maybe something she wasn't ready to face. The knock came again. This time, slightly louder, more certain. Slowly, she placed her mug down. Her footsteps felt heavier than they should as she walked toward the door, each step carrying years of silence, years of distance from the outside world. Her hand rested on the handle. For a second, she almost turned away, because opening that door meant letting something in, and she wasn't sure if she was ready for that. But then, she opened it. Standing there was a young boy, maybe 10 years old. His clothes were damp from the rain, his hands slightly trembling from the cold, and in his arms, he held a small worn-out box. Sarah blinked in confusion. "Can I help you?" she asked softly. The boy looked up at her. His eyes were calm, but searching. "My name is Daniel," he said quietly. "I think this belongs to you." He gently held out the box. Sarah hesitated before taking it into her hands. It felt light, but somehow heavy at the same time. Her fingers trembled slightly as she opened it. Inside, old letters, faded photographs, and a watch. Michael's watch. Her breath stopped. The world around her went silent. "I found it in my grandfather's things," Daniel said softly. "He passed away last month." Sarah looked at him, confused. "I don't understand." The boy shifted slightly. "He used to talk about a man named Michael," he said. "He said he made a promise he never kept." Sarah's chest tightened. "Years ago, your husband helped him," Daniel continued, "when he had nothing. No home, no support. Michael gave him everything." Tears filled Sarah's eyes. Michael had never told her this. "He always said he would return it one day," Daniel whispered. "But he never got the chance." The rain outside grew heavier, but inside, something changed. For years, Sarah believed she had lost everything. But in that moment, she realized something else. Michael hadn't just been someone she loved. He had been someone who changed lives, even after he was gone. For a long time, Daniel said quietly. He kept this box, waiting. He looked up. "I think this is the moment." Something inside Sarah broke, not in pain, but in release. For the first time in years, her memories didn't feel heavy. They felt alive. She looked at the boy standing in the rain, small, quiet, carrying something that was never really his to carry. "Do you want to come inside?" she asked gently. The boy hesitated, then nodded. And just like that, the silence in the house began to change. That night, for the first time in 4 years, Sarah didn't feel alone. Because sometimes, life doesn't arrive loudly. It doesn't force its way in. Sometimes, it knocks softly. patiently, waiting for you to open the door. And if you do, you might just discover that your story isn't over yet. The door closed softly behind them. For a moment, neither of them spoke. The house, which had been silent for years, now felt different, not louder, but no longer empty. Sarah moved slowly toward the kitchen. "Sit wherever you like," she said gently. Her voice felt unfamiliar, as if she hadn't used it this way in a long time. Daniel stepped inside carefully. His eyes moved across the room, taking in the details. The old photographs on the wall, the neatly arranged books, the faint scent of tea lingering in the air. "This house feels warm," he said quietly. Sarah paused for a second. Warm. It had been a long time since anyone had described it that way. She poured another cup of tea, her hand steady this time. "Here," she said, placing it in front of him. Daniel wrapped his hands around the cup, letting the warmth settle in. For a few seconds, there was only silence again. But this time, it didn't feel heavy. Sarah sat across from him, the wooden box resting on the table between them. Her eyes drifted toward it again, still trying to understand how something so small could change everything. "Your grandfather," she began softly. "What was he like?" Daniel looked down at his hands. "He didn't talk much," he said. "But when he did, it was always about the past." He paused, as if he was trying to hold on to something before it disappeared. Sarah felt that more than she expected. "He used to say," Daniel continued, "that one man saved his life when he had nothing." Sarah's chest tightened slightly. "He never said much more than that," Daniel added. "But every time he talked about him," he looked up. There was this look in his eyes. "What kind of look?" Sarah asked quietly. "Gratitude," Daniel said. "And regret." The word lingered in the air. "Regret." Sarah's fingers slowly traced the edge of the wooden box. "Michael," she whispered softly. "He never told me." Daniel nodded slightly. "Maybe he didn't need to," he said. Sarah looked at him, confused. "Some people don't talk about the good things they do," Daniel explained. "They just do them." The room fell quiet again. But this silence felt different. It wasn't filled with loss anymore. It was filled with understanding. Sarah leaned back slightly in her chair, her eyes drifting toward the photographs on the wall. One in particular, her and Michael, standing on a beach, laughing, wind in their hair, sunlight in their eyes. For years, that photo had hurt too much to look at. But now, it didn't. Now, it felt like a memory she could hold on to, without breaking. "Did you know him well?" Daniel asked gently. Sarah smiled faintly. "I thought I did," she said. She let out a soft breath. "But I guess there were parts of him I never knew." Daniel nodded slowly. "My grandfather used to say," he hesitated, "as long as someone remembers you, you're never really gone." Sarah's eyes softened. For the first time in years, that idea didn't feel like something distant. It felt real.